Okay, so get this. You guys sent us some research on the bullet ant, and wow, this is no ordinary ant. We're talking about a creature that's earned its fearsome reputation.
Yeah, it's not your average picnic crasher.
Definitely not. We're going to be diving deep into some excerpts you sent from pasted text to find out just what makes this ant so special. Why it's called the bullet ant in the first place.
Sounds
Oh,
fascinating.
it is. We'll be exploring their world down in the Amazon and even taking a look at how they've been a part of some pretty intense ancient rituals.
Well, I think the first thing that really jumps out is their sting. It's considered the most painful in the world, right at the top of the Schmidt Sting Pain Index.
Yeah, a nickname like bullet ant has got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And the document, it actually describes the pain as pure, intense, brilliant pain. I don't know about you, but that sounds, well, terrifying.
It really does, but the thing is, that description, it's not an exaggeration. You see, their venom, it contains this neurotoxin. It's called ponerotoxin.
Ponerotoxin.
Yeah, and it's specifically designed to disrupt nerve signals. It basically takes over your pain receptors, and then it just floods them with this burning, throbbing pain that can last for a full 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, it's like, imagine the feeling of a gunshot wound, but without the actual injury.
Oh, wow.
That's about the closest you can get to understanding what that sting feels like.
It's incredible and also kind of scary how nature can just come up with these, like, super specific defense mechanisms. But I guess we should probably reassure our listeners, it's incredibly painful, but it's not usually deadly. Right. Unless someone has an allergic reaction.
Exactly. That's an important point.
So where do these creatures, with their super stings, where do they actually hang out?
Okay, so picture this. Dense rainforest. Humid, vibrate. The rainforests of Central and South America.
The Amazon?
Yeah. That kind of warm, humid environment, that's their ideal home.
I can only imagine with a sting like that, they're probably not, tiny.
You're right. They are definitely not your average ant. We're talking 18 to 30 millimeters long. That's bigger than a dime. And they're striking to look at, too. They have this blackish red body and these large, powerful mandibles.
Okay, those mandibles are definitely not just for show. So they're thriving in these rainforests. But what about their social structures? Like, do they live in colonies like other ants?
Oh, absolutely. They're highly social insects. A single colony can have hundreds of ants, all working together, each one with a specific role to play. Think of it like a city under the forest floor, You've got workers, soldiers, and of course, the queen.
I love that analogy. So tell me more about this hierarchy. What does the queen do?
Well, the queen, she's the heart of the colony. Her main job is reproduction. She lays all the eggs that keep the colony growing and going.
Makes sense. And the worker ants, they're like the ones that keep everything running smoothly, right?
Exactly. They handle all the day-to-day stuff. Foraging for food, maintaining and defending the nest, taking care of the young. They're the ultimate multitaskers, really.
Wow. And what about their diet? What do they eat?
Oh, they're omnivores. They have a pretty diverse diet. Nectar, other arthropods, whatever protein sources they can find. They're not picky eaters.
Fascinating. Now, I read that they're mostly active at night. Is there like a reason for that?
That's right. They're mostly nocturnal, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First, it helps them avoid the really intense heat during the day in the rainforest.
That makes sense.
And being active at night, it also helps them avoid some predators. But you might also see them out in the cooler hours of the early morning or late evening, too.
Now, we can't talk about bullet ants without mentioning their aggression and the way they use pheromones to communicate. It's like their own special language, right?
Exactly. Pheromones are these chemical signals that they release, and they can communicate all sorts of information, like warning signals, calls for backup if the nest is under attack, or even marking trails to food sources.
So they're basically saying, hey, watch out. Danger here.
Exactly. It's a really complex and efficient system they have.
So I guess the takeaway there is don't mess with the bullet ant nest.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. They're
Yeah.
super territorial, and they'll defend their home against anything they see as a threat.
But their role in the ecosystem isn't all about aggression and defense, right?
Yeah.
They help maintain balance, too.
Absolutely. Because they're predators, they help keep other insect populations in check, and that's important for the health of the whole rainforest. Plus, they help with seed dispersal, which helps with regeneration and diversity of plants.
Wow. So these little creatures, they have a big impact.
They really do.
Speaking of impact, let's talk about the cultural side of bullet ants. Specifically, the Saturma tribe and their coming-of-age ritual.
Right, this is a truly remarkable ritual. The
Yeah.
young men in the Saturma tribe in the Amazon, they wear gloves, and these gloves are woven with hundreds of live bullet ants.
Hundreds.
Yeah, it's a test of their strength and endurance.
I can't even imagine the pain.
It's pretty intense. They have to wear these gloves for hours.
What's the significance of this ritual for them?
Well, it's a rite of passage into adulthood. It shows that they have the courage and the strength to take on the responsibilities of a warrior. The pain, it's believed to make them resilient, and forge a deep connection to their ancestors.
It really makes you think about human beings and how much pain we can endure and the things we're willing to go through for tradition and belonging. It's kind of a powerful testament to the human spirit, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It really challenges our perspective. And it highlights how different cultures around the world, they have all these different ways of defining strength and maturity.
And thinking about the Amazon and these indigenous cultures, it's hard not to think about the threats they face, especially deforestation. What does that do to the bullet ant populations?
Unfortunately, deforestation is a huge threat to bullet ants and to
Mm.
countless other species in the rainforest. Protecting these ecosystems, it's not just about saving trees, it's about protecting all the life that exists within them. When habitats are lost, it can disrupt the entire balance of the rainforest, and that can have a ripple effect on whole populations.
It's a good reminder that everything on our planet is connected, and we have a responsibility to protect that diversity of life.
Definitely. Conservation efforts are crucial to making sure the bullet ant and the whole rainforest ecosystem can survive.
Well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive today. Everything from that infamous sting to their complex social structure, their role in the ecosystem, and even their place in a fascinating cultural ritual. The bullet ant, it's a tiny creature with a big story, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I think it really shows us the incredible diversity of life on Earth and the importance of understanding and respecting even the smallest creatures.
That's a great takeaway for our listeners. Next time you see an ant, just take a moment to appreciate the world it comes from, the vital role it plays, the whole web of life that we're all a part of.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep those research requests coming. We'll see you next time.